the Bukit Batok now?
Started event, but
Running his own business,
no stop button.
58 years old, 58岁，是做生意的，4个孩子都长大了。今天，
Yeah, we started.
今晚
Now there's a stop.
他会用福建话来演讲。He will be using Hokkien for his speech this evening. Without further ado, a round of applause for Gilbert.
Right now the next button there is
Amu, where are you? Amu 你在哪里？这就是我发的阿木啊，这是Bukit Batok的老朋友，阿木加油，咱大家来拍波，加油！各位亲爱的Bukit Batok老朋友、亲戚朋友、老厝边，大家今天晚上好。小弟是行了Bukit Batok 32年，也是Bukit Batok选民的一名。今仔暝小弟真正欢喜，有这个机会调放这个台来介绍我的老朋友阿木。阿木这次来到Bukit Batok，无大代志，但是真大代志。伊就是代表PAP 来Bukit Batok竞选，来为咱Bukit Batok服务。小弟知影捌这个阿木已经有16年了，伊是我的老朋友，伊本是Bukit Batok大家庭的老朋友。啊，你王志忠博士的时阵。伊就去Bukit Batok活动，迄阵的阿木头毛乌乌，喙鬚乌乌，真缘投煞煞。当今的阿木啊，头毛白，喙鬚白，我惊你人袂理你，所以就要大大甲介绍，掌声来support阿木。阿木在我心目中是一个老师，用功打拼、忠心、有情有义的朋友兄弟。感谢。伊对我来讲是咱Bukit Batok大家庭上好的人选。有一摆，我偷偷问阿木，我讲阿木。你事业成功，啊，事业有成，佫是一名的高级大师，安尼艰苦做甚物？爱选价、做议员、食饱换腰。你知影阿母甲我讲甚物无？爱猜看卖嘛。伊甲我讲，Bukit Batok这个区是我的心头肉。这句话就会使讲，定就爱选你，袂使放伊走。所以呢，我捌阿母安尼多年了解伊的人格，我甲阿母讲。无管什么人来到Bukit Batok，小弟家顶有5个票啊，拢总是你阿母的啊！阿母来加油！我讲阿母安尼做好处啊，但是咧，连头哥啊，阿母就Bukit Batok做着什么工作？讲做无用。第一，阿母伫王志忠博士的时阵，伊是律师，伊写律师批，伊伫后尾咧写批。但是咧，伊有时佫着做作工呢，迄两个自由差，外交易 所以我来讲，你就是安尼骨啦。PAP 才会选落去，啊，朱年拜啊礼拜竞选。第二，我人应该知影，不吉巴多大摆50A，有一大代志，一大集团，你来到不吉巴多，伊要买这个大摆50，要改变做做 supermarket， 就超级市场。但是呢，迄阵不吉巴多真正侪，这客户甲这个小贩无欢喜，伊要求这个淡巴萨就要甲留了，互咱不吉巴多居民有方便。因哪里？这个巴萨过是了不吉巴多150，伊两个功劳功不可没，是阿母去做的。所以，再讲感谢。第三点，阿母安怎会讲这个190万不吉巴多翻新这个补充的有钙走廊？这是因为阿母讲。这巴萨是伊留落来的，所以不吉巴多这个巴萨，嗰是伊的 baby， 伊就爱想方法就安怎做。但是这190万工程完顿，这 David 王金发的时阵已经有讲过，但是咱需要一个有人干，有这个心的人去继续这个工程。所以咱定着爱把阿母带入去国会，互伊继续为咱做这个工程。咱老人家讲，头家竞争开190万就拿来投资，投资创什么？投资是不去巴多人方便，唔是投资来佚佗啊！这个工程会使用几十年咧，令咱不去巴多的人民出入入，无惊慌无惊哦。阿母的工程定都爱看落去，阿母定爱个老条，对唔对？但是咧，有个人讲话哦，最咧，大声袂准啊，一粒敢若风球安那无，一扶这就大大了。但是咧，一支针镜拄着。认着了，阿母唔对啦，阿母唔是这款人。阿母讲少少，做做做，哦，无常啦。伊是个真正有信心，为咱服务，一心志为咱服务，所以咱定着爱甲阿母选入去咱的国会。哪里咧？这个补选。PAP 哦，阿母调倒转来啊，调倒转来不吉巴多竞选，这是咱不吉巴多大家庭的福气，请大家在座的，那厝看电视机的、听咧了的，爱记了，爱珍惜听你这个机会，然后选阿母，入去咱的国会做咱人的议员。5月7号拜6的期了，定就爱选阿母。阿母的正名是无拉里比例的机会。阿母会当，有选有送，哪烦恼？这是promotion啊！咱选阿母1票，你得6票的，总数是7票。这7票内面有咱的副总理。啊，得帮到啊！啊，咱的议员啊，所以咱这票啊是真搭对嘞，真偏不过真搭对，一个送6个，总数7个。所以小弟呢，到最后大家身体健康，万事如意。祝福阿母继续加油，马到功成。 感谢各位，谢谢各位。
Release all this stuff. Got to go for the back.
How was the second speech? Okay, another round of applause for Wilbert. Okay, and see that the heat is rising. Anybody want to guess? We play a little game here lah. Oh? Anybody want to guess who's the third speaker or not? Anybody?说到会阿木 Anybody else? 还有谁？谁是第三个演讲者？你们要谁？好，我们就给你阿木好不好？可是当我们还没有把阿木带上前面的时候，让我说几句话。阿木，他的名字叫做穆伦里。如果有些人还不知道，他是一名律师，新加坡其中一间最大间的律师楼的主管，一个部门的主管。Is the head of a litigation department in one of the biggest law firms in Singapore. As you heard from the earlier speaker, road aside, he has served the Bukit Gombak residents as a branch secretary 16 years, 16年了。因咩？我讲这个大都会，我嘛是一个律师，他是我的前辈。我跟你说，老实话，每天早上你会看到阿木在吉利福中心的一个小摊位那边拎一杯果啤。他是一名大律师，以我们这种晚辈看到他的话，我们会怕，我们讲哎呦来了来，长辈来了，要尊敬。阿木从来不会看扁人家，看低人家，他不是这样的人。所以刚才的演讲者说的对，他的话少，做的非常多。伊唔是一款家己讲家己爽的人，你家己讲你家己爽无用的，你爱讲你爱做，大家爽，安尼讲较有用。不，有哦，大部的啊。他把我们当成是同辈，这是我本身的体验认识阿木的时候，他是一个很谦虚的人。He's a very very humble man. Never once look down on people as his junior. He sees everybody as equal. In Hokkien they say this. 他不是一个看起无看落的人，他的眼睛直直放在下面。这是跟着人民很亲民，而且听说去年的大选 I heard it was reported the general election 2015 in the ward of Paya Lebar. 阿木赢了 he won against another lawyer 陈长茂 in less than one cycle. He won over the hearts of the Paya Lebar residents. And now he is back in Bukit Batok. And without further ado, let me give you Amu.
penduduk-penduduk Bukit Batok, para hadirin hadirat sekalian, selamat malam. Saya Murali pilih calon bagi Parti Tindakan Rakyat Bukit Batok untuk pilihan raya kecil. Saya telah berusaha di Bukit Batok selama 16 tahun. Terutamanya dengan mendiang Dr. Ong Chik Chung, bekas pemimpin rakyat Bukit Batok. Beliau sudah meninggal sekarang 8 tahun. Dalam manifesto saya menyatakan beberapa rancangan untuk memberi lebih bantuan kepada penduduk-penduduk Bukit Batok dari segi pekerjaan, menolong penduduk tua kita yang uzur dan anak-anak dari keluarga kita yang kurang mampu. Dengan kerjasama anda, kita bersama-sama akan memastikan Bukit Batok dapat terus membangun dengan maju demi masa depan kita. Saya berikrar untuk berkhidmat sepenuh hati untuk anda. Undilah PAP untuk kediaman yang selamat. Undilah PAP untuk masa depan yang cermat. Cerah. Undilah PAP. Sekian, terima kasih. Bukit Batok Makale, வணக்கம். நான் இங்கு 16 வருடமா சேவை செய்துள்ளேன். உங்களுக்கு மேலும் மேலும் மற்றும் மீண்டும் மீண்டும் சேவை செய்ய எனக்கு உங்கள் வாக்கு தாருங்கள். மாசேகாவுக்கு உங்கள் ஆதரவை கொடுங்கள். நன்றி, வணக்கம். 大家晚上好。我是阿姆。谢谢大家到我们的群众大会，请大家斗人民行动党群斗我阿姆一票。Residents of Bukit Batok and friends, how are you feeling today? We are quite lucky because the rain has stopped and I think it's quite cool now. So I hope you are enjoying it on top of the hill called Bukit Gombak. Nice view too. So we are really blessed with good weather and we are surrounded by good people. Thank you very much for making the time to come here. I can really feel the energy standing here from you. Thanks so much for coming here. Friends, I have received much advice on how to do well in this election. Not too long ago, I shared with the press a very interesting piece of advice from a friend. He told me, to do well in election, you must look well on TV. You must look well in the photographs. So I said, what I must do? He said, Murali, shave off your moustache. I was startled. I said, this moustache, even army I didn't shave off. Why must I shave off now? He said, you know, statistics has it that facial hair is not a good idea when you want to look good in media. And then he asked me, how many MPs you know in parliament sport moustache? That stopped me for a while. But I said to him, sorry, I'm Amu, I have my moustache, I have my watch, I have my all, and I'll be just like that, and I'm afraid Bukit Batok residents will be saddled with it. So he went off a bit disappointed, I guess. But what is interesting is this. After that, when I made it public, many supporters, ardent supporters amongst you, started sporting a moustache to support me. So for these ardent supporters, thank you so much. I'm really very touched. But as Mothership said, I'm not sure whether Gillette and Braun will be too happy. Okay. Thank you very much. I consider that. Tonight, I want to talk about my vision for making Bukit Batok a more caring community. A community where, irrespective of our backgrounds, everybody is helped and nobody is left behind. But first, I want to talk about the mentors who shaped my attitudes to life. I will talk about three mentors. I begin with my late father. He was a trade unionist in Naval Base Union. He fought for the rights of workers in the 1950s when we were part of the colony. Under him, I learned quite a lot, and I want to highlight three main values. First, he said that if I entered politics, I must make it very, very clear that whatever I do, I must do it for our people. He told me this unequivocally. He said, when you leave politics, make sure you leave with just the shirt on your back. That was his advice to me when I asked him whether I could join PAP. And of course, I thought he would have some objections because he was a Barisan socialist person and he went into detention. But he gave me his full support. He just gave me this piece of advice. Next, he advised me, and this is another value that he taught me, respect everyone. Respect everyone irrespective of their background. So this is something which I've imbibed as well. The last one is something which is very endearing for me. He quoted from Guru Nanak. Now, for those in the audience who may not know Guru Nanak is the founder of Sikhism. So he quoted from Guru Nanak this verse. Truth is the highest virtue. Even higher is truthful living. So what it means is, practice what you preach. So that was something that he said time and time again, and it got ingrained in my mind. His passing was a big blow to me. I turned vegetarian after he passed away. I received some solace though from a good piece of advice that I received, which is the best way to cherish his memory is to live life in accordance with the values that he taught me. So that's an advice I've been following. The next mentor I want to highlight and speak about today is none other than the late Dr. Ong Chit Chung. Dr. Ong was responsible for bringing me into community service. He is no stranger to Bukit Batok, far from it. He was an MP here for more than 20 years, from 1988 to 2008. He was a visionary. I learned leadership skills under him. He forged together a strong, committed group of volunteers. Many of them who are here today. Can I hear from them? The volunteers from Bukit Batok, the community volunteers. Thank you very much for your dedicated service all through the years. If I were to throw a stone and it hits them, it would probably hit a person who has served 15 years and above. Many of them have served 30 years and above. So thank you very much. Cheers, Annie. 谢谢你们的支持。I've undertaken a number of projects under the late Dr. Ong Chik Chung. And whenever anyone asks Dr. Ong how much time would he give to implement the project, he would famously ask, "Do you know my name?" Then I said, "Yes, Ong Chik Chung." "Do you know what Chik Chung means in Hokkien?" I didn't know. I asked, it meant immediate. So then I got it. It has to be immediate. So that's the kind of person he was. He was a good mentor, and I learned a lot under him. And I'm sure it's the same feeling with the dedicated pool of volunteers that we have in Bukit Batok. Next, Mr. Lim Boon Heng. Mr. Lim. Thank you. Mr. Lim was the anchor minister of Jurong GRC when Dr. Ong Chik Chung suddenly passed away in 2008. As I was the branch secretary of Bukit Batok branch, I worked very closely with him. I learned quite a lot of important lessons under him. I've seen in many discussions with residents, he was listening much more than talking. So he taught me the lesson of active listening. Not just listening to the words, but trying to understand what drives the residents. That's even more important sometimes, because they say something but when you look at their face and you really listen to them hard, you can understand the innermost feelings, the emotions, what drives them, and then you are able to better solve their problems. And he made it very clear that whatever we do, as community leaders, as politicians, we must make sure that residents remain the center of what we do. So there you are. My political life has been shaped by these three mentors, these three giants. I'm indebted to them. I don't see politics as a career. This is not my career. This is not my tantia. This is a cause. This is a sacred duty. I'm not interested to say things just to keep me in the post. That is not what drives me. I also feel a debt that I owe to my mentors. Let me relate a story which happened just recently. I went for a house visit and Mr. Lim Boon Heng accompanied me. So we met a resident who happens to know Mr. Lim Boon Heng. So we had a discussion. So the resident rhetorically asked, "So how, after elections, if you win, would you come back and see me for a house visit?" I was about to reply. But before I opened my mouth, Mr. Lim already came in. He said, "If Amu does not turn up, he will get a kick." So I then said, there is no danger of me getting a kick because I'm quite well trained already. So that is my experience with the three mentors that I've learned. I also have been helped greatly by friends that I had over the number of years. I want to mention in particular my experience in Hwa Chong. Some of them are here today. I see Ju Chai there. Can you put up your hand? Andrew, anybody else from Hwa Chong? So good to see you here. Now, I was quite an active, perhaps the teachers would say naughty, but I'll use a neutral term, active student in Hwa Chong. I was a student councillor. I played hockey for the school. And I was in a very important club with a rather unimaginative name, the PAABA Club, which took care of the public address and ABA needs of the college. I also was in a fantastic tutorial group, the S33 group, who played more than studied, but that's another story altogether. Because we were so active, we used to stay in Hwa Chong itself. I used to stay in Hwa Chong itself, but not the Hwa Chong hostel, because we couldn't afford that. We stayed in a Hwa Chong storeroom, 4 of us. It 5 of us plus me. And this was quite fortunate because I was staying in Sembawang, many of us were staying far away, and the school principal, Bernard Fong, was kind enough to allow us to stay in that one room. So by staying in Hwa Chong, we could do more council work for our students, fellow students, like tapawing dinner for them during exam time. So we were very, very close band of brothers and sisters. I still remember the Sanka, right? Remember the Sanka? You want to sing the song? Maybe I'll try the first line. Hey, does that sound right? San san liu sui si li li hey, hey yo yo hey. I better stop here while the going is good. Yes, we are very close, and needless to say, we are friends for life. We were never in competition. We were all helping each other cross the finishing line. We had our share of practical jokes as well. I remember Vincent, who is now a doctor, he put a mouse tail that he got from the bio lab into my pillow. I won't tell you how we settled it, but we lived. So I learned from that experience that so long as we are together, we can overcome hardship. So my pledge to Bukit Batok residents, I come with a lifetime of experience and lessons learned from my mentors and my friends. I will work for you with all my heart. When there is a clash between my personal interest and Bukit Batok residents' interest, I will always put Bukit Batok first. Thank you. I want to make a positive difference for you. The day I stop doing that, I will leave. When I leave with a shirt on my back and with nothing else but memories of my service with you. I now would like to talk about my plans for Bukit Batok residents. But before that, it may be good to recount about the history of Bukit Batok, and I'm quite indebted to Mr. Bay because he spoke about the history of Bukit Batok in Teochew. In the year of independence, 1965, Bukit Batok was just a rural area with fish farms, with poultry farms, and of course we had the granite quarries. Today, it is a beautiful housing estate, but more importantly, it is an extremely closely knit community. For that, we have to thank our Bukit Batok residents. They are the reason why we have a closely knit community. There were, of course, problems over the years, but we managed to overcome them together. Let me highlight two problems. In the 1980s, there was a lot of resentment arising from the fact that many families were resettled from the kampongs into the housing estates. So as a result of that, there was quite a bit of people who were upset. Not only that, in the 80s, early 90s, there was some objection to the siting of St. Luke's Hospital in Bukit Batok itself. So this was an initiative of the late Dr. Ong. He was far-sighted and he wanted to bring St. Luke's Hospital into Bukit Batok. That was around the 90s, early 90s. And there was quite a bit of objection because at that time they said, why have a hospital in my backyard? So what did we do? We engaged our residents. We ask them to think about the long-term interest of our families living in Bukit Batok. And now, thanks to our residents who acceded and agreed to the building of the hospital there, we are now reaping the rewards because Bukit Batok has matured and many of our elderly find the services very convenient because it's just a walking distance away. So Bukit Batok residents know that PAP, the People's Action Party, is a trusted party, is a party that always looks out for the interests of our Bukit Batok residents. They also know that they can rely on the Jurong family, now headed by DPM Taman, and also consists of our Jurong MPs, and I consider Madam Halima our permanent advisor too. So we are very fortunate. We take care of our Bukit Batok interests, but Bukit Batok is part of the Jurong family, and DPM and the fellow Jurong MPs will take care of Bukit Batok because we are part of the family. If we are given a chance to be elected as representative of Bukit Batok. Now I talk about the new challenges that face us. Of course there are challenges. And in my discussions with Bukit Batok residents, a good number of them are concerned about the gloomy economic climate. But there is also a confidence amongst our Bukit Batok residents. They know that so long as a community we tackle these problems together, just like before, we can surmount. We can overcome. Let me talk about the job situation. At the present moment, the unemployment rate is about 3%. But to a Bukit Batok resident who has lost his job, the effect is 100%. So how do we help our residents who face themselves in this situation? In my manifesto, I've outlined some measures to help these affected Singaporeans. I advocated fair practices. All things being equal, Singaporeans' job, our fellow Singaporeans' job, should be preserved over a foreigner's. If the economy goes down even further, we must be thinking about tightening the employment pass criteria so that we preserve our Singaporean core. But as a community, we can also do better. That is why I want to start, with your blessings, a community job placement program. What do I mean by a community job placement program? This would involve me working with our dedicated pool of community leaders, using our contacts, using my work contacts, leveraging on the Jurong family contacts to help Bukit Batok residents who find themselves out of a job. We then try and match them with jobs whom we get to know through our Jurong family contacts, through our Bukit Batok contacts, through my work contacts. And I have used it to good effect. Let me give you two examples. Miss Ng was a lady whom I met not too long ago during my house visit. She had just lost the job. She was working in a bank. And she told me that she's looking for another job, but she had some difficulty. So I put her in touch with a person who is running the IT skills competency course in SMU. So the idea was for Miss Ng to upskill herself and get a more value-added job in the banking industry. So I wish Miss Ng all the best in her journey to upskill herself. I want to also talk about Mr. Razali. Now, Mr. Razali is a famous man who was doing push-ups with me in the video which was uploaded in my Facebook. Mr. Razali is 66 years old, or should I say 66 years young, because he's very, very fit. He told me that he still wants to work and asked me for some help. So I said no problem. I contacted some friends within the community as well, and I gave them a character reference. I said when I was doing push-ups with Mr. Razali, by the 10th time I was feeling it already. I almost couldn't make it. But for Mr. Razali, he just got warmed up. He was about to go, have more push-ups for himself. So I realized that he's a very fit person. So immediately 2 job offers went to him. And Mr. Razali is quite happy. And he's considering these 2 job offers, and I'm sure he would be very gainfully employed in a short time. So we wish Mr. Razali all the best. Last but not least, we must always keep an eye out for our low-income families, especially families who are affected by job losses. We are one community where the well-off will always support the not-so-well-off, and we must make sure that all of us will help each other in times of need. So we will look out actively for our low-income families. If the opportunity presents itself, we will certainly do so. I come to a very important date, 7th of May 2016. Do you know what date is that? Election day. Yes, thank you. Polling day. Let me ask again. Do you know what 7th May 2016 is? Yes, polling day. Bukit Batok residents would have to make a very important decision on the 7th of May 2016. They would have to decide who should be their elected representative. I would suggest that they need to consider a number of questions which I will now outline. Let me see if you know the answers to these questions. Which party will be better able to take care of the needs of Bukit Batok residents? Let me ask the question again, and please reply with more gusto. Which party will be better able to take care of Bukit Batok residents? That's more like it. Which party will be able to address Bukit Batok residents' concerns? Which party will be better able to take care of the living environment of Bukit Batok residents? That's right. Friends, residents, I see a Bukit Batok where everyone in the community is respected and supported. Every individual, every family is a part of the Bukit Batok family. The more well-off must continue to support the less well-off. We are one community. This is what I mean when I said in my manifesto, all for one, one for all. Now I say to you, all for one. Let's try again. All for one. All for one. All for one. Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Wo amu weinin fu. I pledge to serve with all my heart. Terima kasih. Sia-sia. Nandri. Thank you very much, my friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, how is the rally so far? What did I say earlier? 我好小了哦，谦虚的一位君子啊。In his speech, this is what I heard. He paid homage to his mentor, Mr. Lim Boon Heng, his predecessor, Dr. Ong Chik Chung, Mr. Razali, Bukit Batok resident, and his late father from the Barisan Socialists. What does it say about this man? He has the humility, more importantly, the respect towards his seniors. 俗话说的敬老尊贤，百善孝为先。If you do not have the humility or the respect towards your senior, how can you say you can serve the people of Bukit Batok? So on that note, personally untouched by what he said, let's give him a round of applause again. Amu. Our next speaker is Madam Graceful 胡海燕女士，部长，我们 NCCY 的部长，她也是我们这个裕华单选区的国会议员。讲到这边就不需要我多介绍了。Without further ado, let's welcome Minister Graceful. Next, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear residents of Bukit Batok, we are here to campaign for a by-election. This by-election is caused by the resignation of a PAP MP. On behalf of the party, we are deeply sorry to have caused this on you. But this is something we have to do because PAP is a party that believes in party discipline in setting the right example as role model for lawmakers in Singapore. Before you, the question on which party to form the government has been answered. Now is the question is who to elect on the by-election. And I would propose to you that there are three questions that we need to ask as we ponder the choice. First, when you compare the candidates, what kind of person is he? Second, what are his promises? Third, can he deliver on these promises? First, what kind of person? Why is this an important question? Because it is important to know the character of the person that you are voting for as your representative. He will be your leader on the ground to serve your needs. He will be your representative in the country's highest law-making body. A good leader will inspire, will motivate people around him, getting like-minded people to help him, to support him. His network of people will grow. People who think like him, who believes in the cause will grow. I would like to highlight three qualities of Murali. First, his sincerity. Second, that he is humble. And third, that he is committed. He is sincere in wanting to serve the people of Bukit Batok. He has been serving readily the people of Bukit Batok. Every week, every MPS, he has been there for how many years? 16 years. 16 years. Not 16 weeks. Not 16 days. 16 years he has been there. Every week. Solving their legal problems from criminal charges to divorce. Every week. He has been there. Every week. Every MPS. 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 He has been there. Every week. proceedings. He served in the SPF, the Singapore Police Force, as a police officer, and then became a lawyer, continued to fight for people who's the underdog. I know that he has been given legal services pro bono to people that's in need. This shows a clear sense of purpose in his life, why he is in this line. After the 2011 general election, he was asked to go to Aljunied. As we all know, Aljunied is where the opposition has won the election. It is a place where many people will hesitate when asked to go to Aljunied. But he went. And the result, in 3 years, he won over the people in Aljunied, particularly the people in Paya Lebar. So not only is he sincere, he is no fear. You know. Don't look at the nice person. Within him is a steel of rod. It's a rod of steel. He's really, really strong inside. He's also very humble. Don't take my word for it. Observe him, how he talks to people, how he interacts with people, not when there's photograph cameras around. Observe him, how his childhood friends would talk about him. How people who knows him for a long time talked about him. People like Mr. Lim Boon Heng, people like Mrs. Elizabeth Ong, the wife of the late Mr. Ong Chik Chung. These are the people who know him for a long time, interacted with him day in, day out, and they have only good things to say about Murali. You know, it's not easy to find a photograph of Murali in our Bukit Batok community events because he is not one to hog the limelight. He's always working quietly behind the scene, always about serving others and not about himself. Now this is the humble person that we all know and we all trust. His third quality is that he's a very committed person. As I said, he served in the MPS, weekly MPS, for the last 16 years. After Mr. Ong Chik Chung's death, he was the one who held the branch together. He started legal service there. He also started the Ong Chik Chung bursary. When he believes in a cause, he goes for it. Not backing down, not stopping midway. In Paya Lebar, he started a health cooperative with his friends, people who believe him, who support him, gather around him to support him. And the people in Paya Lebar actually love him. I met some of them. They came to the nomination center and they were quite sad to let him go. He gets along with residents of all ages, all races and all religions. He will serve residents of all races. When we asked our activists in Bukit Batok who they would like to have as a suitable candidate to replace Mr. David Ong, Murali's name was first raised by an activist who is a Chinese. All the activists felt he was the best person to serve Bukit Batok. I have observed him when he goes for his walkabout in the last few weeks. He tries hard to reach out to everyone in English, Mandarin, some Hokkien, Malay, Tamil. More importantly, he is supported by a group of supporters and activists who are very established on the ground, who know the people, who like working with him, who trust him, and who know that he is a man with integrity. Being of minority race is not an issue when you are of good character, and people know you are sincere in wanting to help. And we also have a strong team of people who can help bridge the language gap when you meet them. In fact, you should choose the candidate who truly represents Singaporeans of all races. As Singaporeans, we are proud of our multiracial society. We say in our pledge, regardless of race, we should be proud of Murali, of minority race who have made good through hard work. Beware of anyone who plays the racial card, asking Chinese residents to vote Chinese only. We know some people have gone round by saying this. I hope this is not the position taken by SDP, and hope that they will clarify this position. I hope that they will clarify their position on this loud and clear. From the track record of the candidates, we have to ask ourselves, do they have the interests of Bukit Batok residents at heart? Or are they vying the position to meet their personal political objectives? Second, the promises that the candidate makes. He has gone through about what he'd like to do for job placement, for the elderly, for social mobility. On the other hand, his opponent says that he will run the town council productively. He will give financial advice for those in financial difficulties, community support for elderly and low income. How? By encouraging families to adopt a needy family. The support for students, also legal advice. On the surface, both have similar good programs and good proposals. But there is one difference. One came from a man who has 16 years of helping people on the ground. Not just campaigning, but week after week of community service and in Bukit Batok. He has a track record of working with people and making real improvements to people's lives. With economic slowdown and many challenges around us, with companies downsizing, this will become critical. SDP, on the other hand, is not offering to help residents seek employment. Instead, it is asking for more unemployment insurance payments. This is the alternative policy of the SDP. More unemployment welfare benefits, not jobs and helping everyone get back their dignity through work. The third thing that we should consider is whether the candidate can deliver on their promises. Mr. Murali has a network of activists and volunteers who worked with him for 16 years. His team rallied behind him willingly, motivated to support a person whom they trust. He has a good understanding of the ground issues, not just taking political positions. He understands how MPS work, which agencies to go to on which issues. And this is what residents really need when they face problems. An MP who can help them immediately and effectively. He will have the support from Jurong MPs. We are all part of the Jurong Clementi Town Council. MPs of Jurong GRC and myself from Yuhua SMC work closely with Bukit Batok because we were for many years part of the Jurong GRC. We are run independently now, but we support each other. We refer our residents to services offered by another division. We hold our events and activities in facilities that are managed by the same town council. We have town-wide projects that stretches between divisions. For example, there is a project that's ongoing now. It's a town park stretching between Bukit Batok, Yuhua, and Jurong Central. This is not something we do just for Bukit Batok. No. But because we are managed as one town council, we can look at how the facilities can be linked and used to serve the residents. Residents from Bukit Batok, Block 180, for example, cross over to Yuhua Block 263 through an overhead bridge across the PIE. They go there in both directions to send their children to school or go to the nearest hawker center and wet market. We are building link cover on both sides so that residents do not get wet when it rains. So these are examples as how, as a town council, we are able to provide better services, better connectivity for residents across the divisions. Some improvement works are funded by government agencies like HDB and MND, like the town park project I mentioned, like the community space and park next to Bukit Batok Community Center. As you know, it's a very nice community amphitheater with a nice park linking all across a long stretch. While the government provides funds, the conceptualization, the design, the ideas, what to put where do the elderly exercise, what kind of equipment do they use, what kind of exercise do they do, what do our children like, what kind of play stations or play equipment that they like, where do people rest, where would people like to gather. All these ideas are proposed not by URA, it's by the town council. So the NRP, the neighborhood renewal project that Mr. Murali visited, was also similarly proposed by the Jurong Community Town Council. It was proposed after consulting residents, presenting the ideas to them, gotten their feedback, reworked, and represented to them. And when Mr. Murali was there, it was the second round of presentation. So this is not an URA plan or an HDB plan. The funds comes from the government, but the plans, the ideas come from the town council. So if SDP does not even understand this, something as basic as the role of the town council, I think the learning curve for them will be very, very steep. When they say they are ready to take over the town council, I have my doubts and I worry for them. Jurong Community Town Council, if Mr. Murali is elected, will function for Bukit Batok from day one. There will be no disruption to the town council operations, no need to transfer sinking fund to another town council, no need to set up new system. On the other hand, compare the other candidates. Has he run a town council before?
No, it's bullshit!
SDP showed a photograph in front of them, taking in front of a clock tower. It says this clock tower in Gombak, built by Mr. Ling Hao Dong. The message is that SDP has run town council in the past well. So by inference, we won't have problem running town council again. But my friend, 20 years ago, in the 1997 general election, Mr. Cham left SDP, which he started, by the way, and contested under SPP and won Potong Pasir. Mr. Ling Hao Dong, Mr. Cho Chai Chen lost to PAP by big margins. The town council staff disbanded. So where are the people who ran the town council in Gombak? Are they in the town council transition team the SDP introduced recently? If they have experienced people, why do they offer to let WP manage the town council while they retain chairmanship of town council? Remember, this was a collaboration plan that they have for WP for Punggol East. They say, don't worry, we can cooperate. If we win, SDP will be chairman, WP will manage. If you are so confident, why do you make a statement like this? So it's really not easy to start a town council. While I do not doubt the credentials of the transition team, I worry that STP does not fully understand the complexity of the task. In some other constituency, the task of setting up town council has consumed management attention for many years. Dr. Chi hopes to be a full-time MP. But you should note that he's not actually giving up a full-time job. As far as I know, he hasn't held a steady job for many years. Let me be clear. I'm not criticizing his decision to not hold a full-time job for so long. No, that is his personal choice. But the work experience or the lack of it is a relevant fact when we consider the credentials of the candidates. Dear residents, you are now considering 2 candidates for the job of an MP. If you are recruiting 1 person for the job with 2 candidates on hand, what do? You look at their work experience. What have they done? What experience do they have? Is the experience relevant to the job? You also seek references from people who have worked with them, their colleagues, their bosses. It will be very interesting to see whether there will be a referral letter from Mr. Chang Sidong, you know, the Sifu who recruited Mr. Chi into SDP, and what Mr. Cham will write about him. So who will be a better candidate to serve as MP? Who has worked with people, listened carefully to those working around them, managed a team effectively from one job to another consistently? Who has shown consistency and stability in life that will give you the confidence to entrust Bukit Gombak with him? Is it Mr. Murali? Or is it Mr. Chi Soon Juan? Why is this election important to Bukit Batok voters? We are now facing economic slowdown. We have many challenges ahead of us. We need a pair of known and trusted hands who can be effective on the ground. Immediately. Not having to learn, but immediately. Your neighbors, or maybe your relatives, who need help to get a job, cannot afford to be left in the lurch or live on empty promises. The kids in the rental flats need many agencies to come together, from the school, family service center, financial assistance, and so on. They need it quick so that their life can be back on normal track. Your elderly uncle and auntie on wheelchair need an effective town council that will help them fix a ramp in their homes, to level steps at the void decks and respond to lift breakdown quickly. Or work with LTA to adjust the time interval at pedestrian crossing. We need someone with real ground knowledge and ability to bring all resources to bear. Bukit Batok deserves someone with sincerity and humility and is committed to serve your interests. Your decision does not affect you alone. It reflects your neighbors, it affects your neighbors, it affects your family. Collectively, your vote affects everyone in the constituency. So I urge you, voters of Bukit Batok, get the better person in the parliament. Choose the right person. Vote for PAP, vote for Murali. 各位亲爱的五基巴都选民们，我和阿木人里其实很有缘分。2008年，我们玉朗集选区的几个同事因为翁志忠博士过世，我们几个林文兴先生、哈里玛女士还有单达曼先生一起联手接过五基巴都的这个管理。所以我认识阿木的时候呢，是在支部，就是人民行动党的五基巴都支部。当时他是个律师，他是当我们的接见选民时候的法律顾问。我们每个人，我林文兴先生、哈里玛女士还有单达曼部长，每一个星期我们轮流到支部去接见选民。其实我们是一个人一个星期，阿木他是每个星期都在那儿。支部在翁基忠先生过世后，其实是由他当家，能够把所有党员拉住，留住所有义工，稳定翁志忠博士留下来的空隙，是阿木。
对，
有一天我们谈起来，他跟我说他还没有个中文名字，所以他请我给他取个名字。所以这个呢就比较是难的，因为如果一个刚出生的宝宝，你是把你的愿望放在名字里面，但是现在呢是给一个成人来取名，那我就要取一个能够配合他的名字，可以说是量身定做。我给了他仁礼这2个字，因为我觉得他这2个字呢是非常能够形容他的性格。仁，通情达理，对人有爱心，热心帮助人，真诚。理，就是有道理、有道德、有理由的来做事情。人如其名，名副其实。我们华人最注重的就是品格修养。孟母3迁大家都听过，近朱者赤，近墨者黑，更何况是议员，更何况是地方领袖。要投选议员呢，更要注意人选的为人举止。我认为议员必须要有3好：第一，人品好；第二，头脑好；第三，人脉好。第一，人品好，人品好，心地好。孔子说：“正者正也。”也就是说，参政的人心术一定要正，要有一颗真正的心，才能把国家治理好。政治家更要仁政。仁政是什么意思？就是为政以德，譬如北城，居其所而众星拱之。什么意思呢？为政以德，以道德原则来治理国家。譬如北城，就好像北极星一样，居其所而众星拱之。你北极星，你处在一定的位置，其他的星辰呢都会来围绕着你。这就是为政以德，譬如北城，居其所而众星拱之。你只要人有仁爱，以仁爱来治理国家，其他的周边的人都会围靠着你。阿木就是肯定可以引导整个团队的人选，他真心诚意为民服务。2011年大选过后，我们需填补奥运营的这个空缺，那里是卧虎藏龙，我们需要一个能够有耐力、刻苦、有韧性的一个同胞过去。阿木二话不说就过去，3年里面从底开始建立关系，得到那里的爱戴。去年大选得票高出对手，打了漂亮的一战。大家可能不知道， 虽然我们阿育尼输了，但是在巴里巴我们赢了，阿木赢了。巴里巴华族的选民投票占多过80%，多过80%是华族选民。为什么阿木可以在反对党的地方88%华族选民的地方赢得过多半数的选民的支持？因为他细心聆听，真心对人，认真做事。正如中国的邓小平主席他所说过的，不管白猫黑猫，能捉到老鼠就是好猫。华人也好，非华人也好，只要能做事，就是最好的人。一个人的真心不需要语言，用心感受；一个人的能干不需要语言，用眼睛观察。我常常到跟居民打交道，他们就是这句话。他说：“海燕部长，你放心，我们是有眼睛看的，你做的事情，我们知道你有在做。同样的，阿木做的事情，是我们用心去感受，用眼睛去观察。不要轻信打种族牌的人，特别是要提防那些叫华人投给华人的取巧分子。要选对的人，要选好人。民主党的徐顺全先生呢，这里的居民对他都不陌生，特别是在五基巴都裕朗东这一带，因为在裕华小贩中心炮轰当时总理吴作栋的行为，现在还常做话题。所以我惊讶看到晚报的这个专访。过去所为，我感骄傲。徐顺全不后悔往日的疯狂史，这是晚报所提的这个标题，在里面的这个标题。他直言，我引述这个晚报，他直言，我为我的过去感到骄傲。朋友曾经告诉我，他说徐先生是不是已经变了？他似乎温顺了很多，看样子他没变，品格依旧，可能只是包装靓丽了一点。第二，除了人品之外，我们要看他的头脑好，智商高。阿木有个周详的计划，他要设立保健合作社，降低医疗用品的成本。他要做工作配对，帮助失去工作的人尽快找到工作。他要组织志愿团体，照顾贫困子弟。他要再设老人护理中心。他提成的是有实际建设性的方案，他会为五级八都的居民出声。他要提的是全国性的职业配对，对那些要转换跑道、智能培训的工友们给予帮助。他要补助弱势家庭，培养孩子，给予更多学习机会。他要给年长者，那些需要疗养院或者是长期看护的年长辈，争取更多的津贴。这些都是可行、有建设性的计划。这是他终结多年聆听、接触居民的经验。第三，人脉好，情商高。阿木的联络网是经过16年的耕耘，不仅是当地，不仅是Bukit Batok， 更是跟全国，更是政府与民间的这个联络网。他很耐心，从没看到他发脾气，跟人好相处。到巴耶雷巴也得到很多朋友的帮助，视察秋毫，谨慎，三思而后行。我们几位议员都很大力支持他，一定会和他合作，一起管理裕朗、金文泰的市政理事会，人多就好办事。阿木和五基巴都的各团体、机构、福利组织等等等等非常熟悉，在进行各项翻新计划的时候，或者是开拓新的设施的时候，新建筑物的问题，他都能有效地代表居民和各个有关单位磋商。反观民主党，他们主张的是什么？医药费应该几乎免费，一切生活费所需的费用呢，养老金、救济金应该大幅度向人民分发。他们效仿西方国家，要人权，要绝对的这个言语自由。跟着他们走，国家会鸡犬不宁，吵吵闹闹，唯恐天下不够乱。上一代辛辛苦苦工作赚来的储蓄，很快就会坐吃山空。所以开空头支票的这些人呢，千万要提防，不要先甜后苦。轻易的承诺，拍了胸口，打包单，接管市政会有那么简单吗？这位候选人20年没做工了，是否有足够的管理经验来接管这个市政会？补选重要吗？大选过了 ，PAP 以当选为执政党，政府不会变，是否可以让反对党来试一试？朋友们，现在我们正面临经济疲弱，行情不好，极端主义在抬头，邻国的水库几乎要见底了。新加坡面临的种种挑战，我们有很多很多重要的事项要去注意，要去进行。政府必须集中精神，全力以赴。经济不明朗，万一亲戚失业了，你要谁来帮忙找工作？家庭收入受影响，孩子上学的学费成了问题，需要经济上的补助，你要谁来帮忙？老人家忽然间得病，需要长期住院，更需要轮椅，医药费的援助，你要谁来帮忙？真正有困难，最需要帮忙的时候，就要好的、有效的、能干的、有诚意的、真心的议员。投选议员不是儿戏，关系到你邻居、你家人、你亲戚朋友、你整家人，关系到现在，关系到未来。我在这里郑重地请求五地八都的选民们慎重考虑，把你们神圣的一票投给真心、真诚、热心的阿木，请投给阿木，请投给人民行动党。
所以你们都听到了，做人最重要的是少说话，多做事，爱讲有讲无，爱做物件，对不对？阿木听说在五级巴都16年了，他是 volunteer， he is a volunteer in Bukit Gombak for 16 years。他不是看家看 ，OK， 从Marine Parade 跑到 MacPherson 跑到九龙跑到红人Bukit Timah，再跑回来Bukit Batok。OK， Who is it that you want for Bukit Batok? Who is it that you want for Bukit Batok? Okay. Now we have come down to the last speaker for this rally, and She's none other than Madam Halimah Yacob, Speaker of Parliament， 我们国会的议长女士。Madam Halimah 现在是马斯林 UDGRC 的国会议员，可是当然你们会知道，你们会记住，就是以前他是玉朗 GRC Bukit Batok East Division 的国会议员，记得吗？现在乌吉巴多这个单选区高考生还是跟玉朗 GRC 的高考生在一起。As what they say, once Jurong, all Jurong. Madam Halimah, please.
Well, Bukit Batok residents, very good evening. Selamat malam. Vanakkam. Tajiawan San Hao. You have already heard Amu himself speaking just now. I don't think I really have to add anything much. You've got a very good sense of the measure of the man. How much he has done, what he has contributed, what are his plans, what he's going to do. And you will have a very good sense that this is indeed the right candidate, the right person that you want to be a member of parliament for Bukit Batok. But I must say that I feel deeply privileged and honored to be here to lend my voice to Amu, to Murali. He's a man that I have tremendous respect for all the reasons that you have heard. You've heard himself speaking, you have heard others speaking about him, and everything that they have said is really what represents is a measure of the man, and that is Murali. Let me now speak in Malay first before I go to a little bit in my speech in English. Para penduduk Bukit Batok yang saya hormati, pada Sabtu depan 7 Mei anda perlu mengundi. Undi anda adalah penting. Jadi fikirlah baik-baik sebelum mengundi. Buatlah pilihan yang tepat. Pilihlah calon yang akan menjaga anda, menjaga keluarga anda, menjaga juga tempat kediaman anda. Itu adalah amat penting. Saya mengajak anda mengundi Encik Murali. Pilihan terbaik bagi anda sekeluarga. Kenapa Murali? Kenapa Murali? Itu persoalan yang amat penting. Pertama, Murali bukanlah muka baru di Bukit Batok. Saya rasa ramai di sini yang kenal Encik Murali. Beliau telah lama menabur bakti di Bukit Batok demi kebajikan anda sekalian. Sekian lama beliau berkhidmat sebagai relawan dan begitu gigih melakukan pelbagai usaha. Misalnya, saya rasa ramai penduduk Bukit Batok telah pun mendengar, melihat Murali semasa beliau pergi dari pintu ke pintu untuk bertemu penduduk. Misalnya, ramai di antara penduduk Bukit Batok yang telah pun pergi ke Encik Murali mendapatkan nasihat, guaman, dan juga jika anda semasa anda mempunyai masalah-masalah lain. Misalnya, anda juga tahu bahawa Murali juga bertungkus lumus untuk mengumpul dana. Tentu sekali semasa setelah meninggalnya Dr. On Chik Chun dalam tahun 2008 dan beliau menjadi setiausaha cawangan Bukit Batok dan mengendalikan cawangan Bukit Batok, PAP Bukit Batok, dan beliau menabur bakti dengan begitu berkesan. Murali telah berjasa kepada penduduk Bukit Batok selama berapa tahun? Berapa tahun? 16 tahun. 16 tahun. Bayangkanlah, selama 16 tahun beliau berkhidmat tanpa mengenal penat lelah secara sukarela. Murali benar-benar mengenali Bukit Batok dan anda semua. Bak kata pepatah, hanya jauh hari mengenal manikam. Hanya jauh hari mengenal manikam. Dalam kata lain, beliaulah orang yang amat arif tentang segala aspek Bukit Batok. Adakah anda mahu seseorang seperti Murali untuk menjaga kepentingan anda? Atau adakah mahu seseorang yang tidak pernah ke sini kecuali sejak beberapa minggu yang lalu, seperti Dr. Chi? Anda rasa siapakah yang benar-benar mengambil berat tentang anda, penduduk Bukit Batok? Tentu sekali, tepat sekali. Sebab kedua, jika dipilih, Murali akan menjadi suara yang berkesan bagi penduduk Bukit Batok. Beliau tahu benar-benar tentang keadaan penduduk di Bukit Batok. Beliau memang prihatin tentang apa saja masalah yang anda hadapi. Beliau faham sekali tentang segala kekhawatiran anda. Ini semua kerana pengalaman beliau yang lama dan luas di Bukit Batok. Tentu sekali beliau dapat menyuarakan isu-isu anda dengan lebih berkesan. Bandingkan Encik Murali dengan calon SDP Dr. Chi yang baru sekarang mahu mula mengenali anda. Sebelum ini tidak pun ada usaha dari SDP untuk Bukit Batok. Jadi bagaimana dapat calon SDP menjadi suara yang berkesan untuk penduduk Bukit Batok? Adakah ia boleh menjadi suara yang berkesan? Tentu sekali tidak. Encik Murali bukanlah seorang yang akan menyuarakan hanya apa yang dikehendaki oleh pucuk pimpinan PAP. Beliau mempunyai pendapatnya sendiri dan beliau mampu mempertahankan pendirian beliau. Beliau akan berdiri teguh dan tegas jika pendirian beliau adalah benar dan akan membawa kebaikan untuk semua. Sebab ketiga, kenapa saya rasa penduduk Bukit Batok harus menyokong Murali adalah peribadi dan perwatakan beliau. Cik Murali adalah seorang yang berjiwa rakyat dan rendah diri. Beliau berasal daripada golongan tidak berada, golongan biasa seperti kita. Dan beliau bekerja keras untuk berjaya dalam hidup. Dan walaupun beliau berjaya, orangnya tetap sama. Tetap rendah diri, baik hati, peramah. Bak kata pepatah Melayu, beliau ikut resmi padi. Apakah resmi padi? Semakin berisi, semakin tunduk. Bukan seperti lalang, makin lama, makin tinggi, berdiri tegak tetapi terhoyong hayang ke kiri, ke kanan, mengikut arah tiupan angin. Jadi kita tentu sekali mahukan seseorang seperti padi, berisi dan rendah diri dan dapat mewakili rakyat jelata. Saya kenal betul dengan perwatakannya. Beliau memang betul-betul seorang yang dapat dipercayai, bertanggungjawab dan dapat melakukan tugasnya dengan baik dan bersungguh-sungguh. Paling penting beliau jujur dan ikhlas. Jujur dan ikhlas. Adakah itu sesuatu yang kita kehendaki dalam calon kita? Tentu sekali. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sudah menjadi adat bertanding. Banyak perkara yang akan diperkatakan tentang seseorang calon. Banyak janji-janji yang akan dibuat oleh calon itu. Namun yang penting, anda bukan sahaja perlu mendengar janji-janji mereka, tapi tanyalah, fikirkanlah, bolehkah mereka menepati janji itu? Murali bukanlah calon yang sekadar membuat janji kosong. Kita telah pun melihat bagaimana selama 16 tahun beliau berbakti kepada Bukit Batok. Nah, saya ingin menyentuh sedikit tentang apakah program dan bagaimana program beliau boleh memberikan manfaat kepada masyarakat Melayu Islam di Bukit Batok juga. Beliau mempunyai pelbagai rancangan baru yang akan membantu anda serta anggota masyarakat lain. Seperti kita ketahui, keadaan ekonomi kita tidak begitu menentu, iaitu kita akan menghadapi ekonomi yang lebih berkecamuk, dan ramai saya tahu yang bimbang tentang apakah risiko ke atas pekerjaan mereka. Dan mereka mahu tahu apakah jenis bantuan yang akan diberikan kepada mereka jika mereka kehilangan pekerjaan. Dan di sinilah Encik Murali mempunyai program mendapatkan pekerjaan. Dan itu amat penting sebab pekerjaan itu merupakan sesuatu yang amat basic. Kita perlu bekerja untuk mendapatkan pendapatan, menjaga kebajikan kaum keluarga kita. Jadi ini amatlah penting kepada penduduk Bukit Batok. Beliau mempunyai program membantu mereka yang kehilangan pekerjaan. Adakah itu suatu program yang baik? Tentu sekali. Untuk anak-anak kita pula, beliau juga mempunyai skim bimbingan. Dan apakah erti skim bimbingan ini yang Encik Murali adakan? Di bawah skim bimbingan ini, beliau akan membantu anak-anak yang memerlukan dari keluarga yang memerlukan. Dengan cara ini, setiap anak-anak kita dapatlah sokongan dan bantuan yang bersepadu daripada Encik Murali sekiranya beliau dipilih sebagai anggota parlimen bagi Bukit Batok. Ketiga, beliau tidak lupa tentang warga emas. Itu sesuatu yang amat penting bagi diri beliau. Dan beliau juga ada program untuk warga emas. Beliau tahu mereka bimbang tentang kos perubatan. Beliau akan menubuhkan sebuah kooperatif penjagaan kesihatan untuk mengurangkan kos beberapa rawatan penjagaan kesihatan. Dan beliau akan membantu warga emas kita memahami nasihat perubatan dan menjaga kesihatan. Beliau juga akan menubuh satu lagi pusat penjagaan warga tua dan mengadakan sebuah skim untuk menjaga warga emas berpendapatan rendah. Jika anda adalah seorang warga emas di Bukit Batok, adakah skim yang akan diadakan oleh Encik Murali ini sebuah skim yang baik? Tentu sekali. Ini adalah skim yang akan membantu menyokong warga emas. Kesemua rancangan ini akan dapat dilaksanakan jika anda memilih Encik Murali. Dan saya tahu isi hati anda tentu sekali anda mahu memilihnya. Dan bukan itu saja, Encik Murali juga mahu memperbaiki kawasan sekeliling Bukit Batok untuk anda dan keluarga anda. Sebuah taman yang indah di mana anda, orang tua anda dan anak-anak boleh bersantai dan beriadah. Trek berlari-lari anak supaya anda boleh bersenam dalam suasana aman. Tempat jalan berbumbung, sheltered walkways, anda boleh ke sana sini tanpa bimbang tentang terik mentari atau hujan. Nah, saya rasa, adakah anda merasa begitu gairah mendengar program-program Encik Murali? Tentu sekali. Ini adalah, adakah kita mendengar program-program yang lebih baik daripada apa yang dikatakan oleh Encik Murali daripada pihak pembangkang? Adakah? Tidak ada. Jika dipilih, ini penting, bukan saja ada program, bukan saja ada pembaharuan, tapi yang penting jika dipilih, beliau juga akan dapat mengotakan segala janji-janjinya. kerana beliau dapat memanfaatkan pengalaman Majlis Bandaran Jurong Clementi, iaitu Jurong Clementi Town Council. Kau sekali berkata-kata, kata-kata tu mudah, senang. Tulis sebuah kertas, kartu dan sebagainya senang. Tapi mengotakan kata-kata tu adalah satu cabaran yang harus dipenuhi oleh setiap calon atau mereka yang baru menjadi anggota parlimen. Bandingkan dengan calon SDP yang berkata dia dapat menguruskan Majlis Bandaran. Calon SDP terbitkan risalah, menjanjikan bermacam perkara, menunjukkan struktur Majlis Bandaran yang akan didirikan, tetapi hakikatnya calon SDP langsung tiada pengalaman dalam perkara ini. Kesemua janji calon SDP untuk menguruskan Majlis Bandaran telah dibentangkan dengan cantik di atas kertas sahaja, tetapi sebenarnya keupayaan mereka belum terbukti. Adakah kita mahu sebuah calon di mana dia dapat mengutarakan kata-katanya dibandingkan dengan seorang calon yang hanya cantik menulis di atas kertas? Di mana satu yang kita pilih? Encik Murali yang dapat mengutarakan kata-katanya? Tentu sekali. Saya rasa anda tahu jadi saya ingin mengajak penduduk-penduduk Bukit Batok jangan mengambil risiko memilih seseorang yang tidak mungkin dapat memenuhi segala janji-janjinya. Dan saya rasa anda tahu bahawa kita harus pilih Encik Murali jika kita mahu kehidupan yang lebih baik. Jadi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, tentu sekali saya rasa Encik Murali kita telah lihat dari semua aspek kebolehannya memenuhi janji-janji, program-program telah dilakarkan, perwatakan beliau dan sebagainya. Memanglah beliau terbukti seseorang yang akan berbakti untuk anda, dan kita telah pun rasakan hasil dari usaha-usahanya. Saya ingin menyentuh satu perkara lagi, iaitu ramai yang mengatakan bahawa ini kan pilihan raya kecil, Puan Halimah. Ini tak usah fikir sangat, sebab kita pilihan raya umum telah pun selesai. Ini pilihan raya kecil. Jadi kerana ia pilihan raya kecil, tak apalah kita undi sesiapa pun tak apa. Tapi saya rasa itu salah tanggapan, salah perspektif. Kerana saya rasa pilihan raya yang kecil di Bukit Batok juga amat penting. Kerana program-program nasional yang ada harus diimplementasikan di bahagian lokal, iaitu sama ada program-program tentang pekerjaan, program-program tentang anak-anak kita dan sebagainya. Tidak akan tinggal hanya program-program nasional. Kita perlukan seseorang yang berkemahiran, berkebolehan untuk melakarkan, mengimplementasi program-program tersebut. Jadi saya rasa mempunyai calon yang baik, calon PAP seperti Encik Murali amatlah penting, kerana beliau boleh menentukan dalam keadaan sekitaran kita yang tidak begitu aman dalam beberapa tahun ini, dapatlah beliau lebih membantu menggunakan skim-skim nasional untuk penduduk-penduduk Bukit Batok. Jadi ini bukan sekadar pilihan raya kecil. Jadi tak pentinglah siapa yang dipilih, amat penting siapa yang dipilih oleh penduduk Bukit Batok supaya dapat beliau menjalankan program-program yang baik, dapat menentukan bahawa penduduk-penduduk dapat bantuan yang diperlukan dalam masa yang ada ni, dalam beberapa tahun tentu sekali, dan kita menghadapi keadaan yang tidak begitu menentu. Jadi bagi pendapat saya ingin sarankan, buatlah pilihan tepat demi masa depan anda, demi masa depan keluarga anda, demi masa depan Bukit Batok. Pilihlah Encik Murali, pilihlah Parti Tindakan Rakyat, pilihlah PAP. Let me just say a few words in English. I just want to thank you for your presence. I want to thank you for your support for Murali. is an important date. Your vote matters, and on it depends your future and your children's future. It is important for you to choose a good candidate. It is important for you to support the PAP. It is important for you to support Murali. I will tell you 3 reasons why I think Murali is a good candidate. First, he is an old boy. He's not a new kid on the block. You all know that. How many years has he served in Bukit Batok? 16 years. Not 1 year, not 2 years. 16 years he has served. And how did I know him? How did I know Murali? The late Dr. Ong Chik Chun passed away in 2008, and we, the MPs in Jurong, GRC, we went to support Bukit Batok. But who was the man who held the whole branch together? The branch secretary. The branch secretary. He has to be there. So when Dr. Chi said that every morning when Mr. Murali gets up, he goes to the office, but when he gets up, he goes to the Bukit Batok. Don't get deceived. Don't get diverted. Don't get confused. They may be confused, but we don't get confused. It doesn't matter when you get out where you go. It's a question of how much you do when you are with the people, when you are at Bukit Batok. That's the most important thing. You don't measure by the fact that you get up very early in the morning, you go to Bukit Batok, you spend there for 24 hours, but you may not achieve anything. But he will achieve a lot, because I've seen him work. Unassuming, humble, caring, highly dependable. We needed a good pair of hands when Dr. Ong passed away in 2008, and we, MPs in Bukit Batok, were very happy we had him in order to carry on with the work on the ground. So that's one reason why I say that Murali is a very good candidate. Second, I say he is consistent. Listen to his values. He talks about his mentors. He talks about his younger days. He talks about his old friends and how he continues to connect with them. He has values. Murali, you see today, was what he was 16 years ago. His values remain unchanged. You know, I first stood as a candidate in 2001. And one of the most shocking experiences in my life was when we had Dr. Chi shouting at Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong. It was quite unbelievable to me, because whatever it is, from whichever party we came from, we must respect our Prime Minister. Am I right? We must respect our Prime Minister. He's the Prime Minister of our country. Mr. Goh Chok Tong was the Prime Minister at that time, and he shouted at Mr. Goh Chok Tong. I was shocked. A newbie candidate standing for election, to see a candidate behaving in that manner. So you see, you know, you may gloss over it and say, well, that's not important. But I never forgot. Particularly we are Asians. We are Singaporeans. We respect our elders, people who hold important positions, our leaders. We still respect them regardless of the party that we are in. So that, in my view, was very sad. So it's not just a candidate with the right qualifications and the right skills. You need to ask, what are the values of that candidate? Equally important. So I have no doubt Mr. Murali has the values that we all want. Humility, dependable, is the kind of candidate, the kind of MP you will be proud of in Bukit Batok. My third point is to say that why we should support Mr. Murali as a candidate is because he has clear programs. He tells you what is his vision for the elderly, for the young, for people who lose their jobs, what he's going to do. And it's not just empty words. He didn't put up a paper. He didn't make long speeches here and there. He just do it. He's someone who just do it. So that's the most important thing. Well, I think this is an important election. People may say, well, this is a by-election, it's not important. You know, we finish our general election, you know, we have a PAP government in power, so what's, you know, the big deal? Doesn't matter anyone, we can vote. But I don't think that's how we should look at it. Because remember, you know, you do need a good pair of hands on the ground in Bukit Batok. You need a good leader. You don't need a manager, you need a leader. You need a good pair of hands on the ground in Bukit Batok to make sure that all the national programs, that are available is then made available to residents in Bukit Batok. Someone must act as the catalyst, the connector, the link, and you need a good pair of hands. And that's the reason why you should vote for him in Bukit Batok, because he will be that connector, he will be that catalyst, he will be that link. So an election in Bukit Batok is not just a by-election, an election that's not important. It is an important election because it is an election that will determine whether the residents in Bukit Batok get the help that you need for you during these few years. There's going to be a very challenging period. People may lose their jobs. We need children to make sure that the children are properly taken care of. If their parents lose their jobs, we need programs. So you do need a very good pair of hands in Bukit Batok East, in Bukit Batok. I'm sorry, I always think of Bukit Batok. You do need a good pair of hands in Bukit Batok. And regardless, and the fact that it is by-election should not divert our attention. We should always remember that it is important. We have a good leader. And I want to say that Mr. Murali is a good leader. Give him your support. Support the PAP, because that is the party that will make sure that you and your children's lives will become better. And so, I do plead voters of Bukit Batok to please vote wisely. Give your vote to Murali. Give your vote to PAP as a sure investment in the future of Bukit Batok and a sure investment in the future of Singapore. Thank you very much.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending our rally tonight. A round of applause for our guests, our speakers, and more importantly, Mr. Murali.
Okay, so right now we are done with the rally for the first night. Tonight we saw Minister Grace Fu as well as residents who have lived in Bukit Batok for the past decades to have spoken at the rally tonight. So without further ado, let's try to grab some residents and see how they feel for tonight's rally. As you can tell, the whole crowd is still chanting Murali, and that has been going on since the start of the rally tonight. Online TV channel. Can we interview you, ask you some questions about we are from online TV, we are online TV channel. Can we give you some questions about okay, great. Or the one you from online TV channel, we'd like to ask some questions. Wait, are you a resident here at Bukit Batok?
Yes.
So, have you? How do you think about the rally tonight?
Oh, very nice. Very good. Very, very good. I make sure Murali can go up.
Okay, so how do you think actually? How do you think about Murali's speech tonight? Did it touch you in any way, or was it good?
Very touching, and then I like everything they're talking about for resident, for senior, everything lah.
So about the policies that he talks about, improving the lives of low-income families, and do you think that how do you think that he will do a good job if he gets elected?
Correct. This all everything good job for senior, for resident, everything lah.
So for you yourself as a resident, what kind of upgrading would you like to see for Bukit Batok?
Yeah.
What kind of upgrading would you
Upgrading, they must take care everything for like upgrade all the thing, must get great new.
Is it like playgrounds or is it like lifts?
Everything garden, for cake corner, therefore senior corner, that's all.
And so regarding the previous MP for Bukit Batok, David Ong, were you happy with him?
Very, very happy. I'm very, very happy, like say, if morally
takes over?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, SDP, Dr. Chee Soon Juan has he has been questioning Murali about, the plans about his neighborhood and whether URA will be the government will be paying for the program and all. What do you think about the accusations? Are they
I'm
fair?
not sure they want SDP can do like Murali like this.
Okay, so if I ask you will you be voting for, would you already be very sure about who you'll be voting for the next?
Murali.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now let's try to look for someone else. Thank you. We are from our online TV channel. Can we ask you some questions? Okay. Hi, we are from an online TV channel. Can we ask you some questions about the rally?
No, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help you.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you.
No worries.
Come. Let's go the other side. Can tell that the crowd is actually still not yet dispersed, and the speakers are still around right now, and they have a huge bunch of supporters really rallying around them for the night. Let's try to grab a few more people before we end the night. Yeah. Hi, we are from an online TV channel. Can we ask you some questions about the rally? No. Okay. Come. Hi, we are from an online TV channel. Can we ask you some questions about the rally? Okay, it's okay. Thanks. Seems like a lot of people are not willing to be interviewed tonight. Let's go. Let's try some more. Hi, excuse me. We're from an online TV channel. Can we ask you some questions about the rally? No. Okay, that's okay. Hi sir, we are from an online TV channel. Can we ask you some questions about the rally? Just a couple of questions.
I should not speak. I'm not a member of the Bukit Batok or something.
Oh sure, that's fine. Okay.
If I come, it's not nice, is it?
Okay, but I just wanted to find out a little more about you attended the rally tonight?
Yeah, but it's better to ask somebody with the Bukit Batok will be good for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Come, let's try to find some people. Let's maybe follow the crowd. All the supporters are over there, so maybe we can find something. Let's try a couple more people. Hi, we are from Happy TV, an online TV channel. Can we ask you a couple questions about the rally? Just a few questions about how the rally went and... okay, it's okay, thanks. Okay. Come, let's try to find more people. Maybe over the other side. We are from Happy TV online channel. Can we ask you some questions about the rally? No? Okay. It really seems that a lot of people are not very willing to be interviewed. Maybe it's the first night, I'm not too sure, but let's try again. Maybe let's try one last one before we call it. Let's ask some questions about the rally. Okay. So I think actually tonight the rally started at 7:45 this evening, and I think the couple of speakers tonight had DPN Taman was actually here, and he was seated up there, but he had not spoken yet, so we'll be expecting him to be speaking in the next few nights of the rally. But tonight we'll call it a night, and do continue to tune in to us at happytv.com. And this is David signing off. Have a good night.